Festivus.
The Festivus, yeah, it is kind of strange. Listen, before I go any further, go back to this Mackenzie Porter thing. She was talking about her favorite car in '98. What was your favorite car that you've had over the years?
Oh, that we have owned ourselves?
Yeah, either individually or since you guys have been together.
I'm a Jeep fan.
Yeah,
Jeep?
we loved our Jeep.
Yeah, I really liked it. But I had a Jeep for years, and actually, I started with the two-door, and then I said, if you can only carry stuff or you can carry people. I said, if they make a 4, I'm in. And they did the Wrangler in a 4-door, and I've had like 4 of them. Like just back to back, we just kept on leasing them.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah.
No.
You get older, and
the family. Things do change. And as you mentioned, things have changed and will change tomorrow as Durham Region goes into stage 3. So that means reopening the dojo. And I know you guys have been working off of video, and it's a pivot. It was a way to keep the business open. But I get the sense that there's not overwhelming excitement about going into stage 3 and opening up the dojo because of obviously the health implications. Reading too much into that?
No, we're a little apprehensive. Actually, we hit stage 3 tomorrow, obviously, but we're going to hold back until August 4th. Basically, we're inside Body Fit Gym, so part of the reason why we're holding back is I sort of want to see how Andy's going to do things, or not just how Andy's going to do things. Andy's doing an exceptionally good job. If anything, he's inspiring us to step up our game a bit more. But it's just, how is the community going to act and how are they going to relate? And it seems like when we do our research as far as what people are going to think about as they return, some places are like 55% return into gyms and dojos, and then there's other places that I believe Andy said there was some gym out in BC, and they thought they were going to get the 55% return, and it ended up they had signed up 77 new clients that day. They weren't ready.
I think that's part of our apprehension as well, not just in terms of the the medical side of things or the health and safety precaution side of things, but we already have our phone ringing off the hook for parents who are looking to sign up their kids for an activity. And where we were once able to have 40 people inside our space, we've got to limit it down now because of size restrictions and spacing. And that's daunting, and we've had to change the entire schedule, and it's,
Well, yeah, it's got to be difficult. And, there are some people who got used to doing, karate or exercises on video. And I'm wondering, are you able to still fulfill those promises to fulfill exercise to those people who have got used to that form of getting karate?
Yes, and we are. So we are actually going to be simulcasting all of the majority of our martial arts and fitness classes. We do know that we have some people who are still quite hesitant on coming back into a public situation. So their classes will continue for the, foreseeable future at this point online on Zoom. We're not creating a product in which people can go back and sort of use it at their own enjoyment or at their own leisure. If they miss a class, they can check in later. No, we're still teaching in real time. But we are, for now, providing that option as we at least move through the month of August, and then we'll see what happens in September.
We've got a pretty good team of instructors too. They're gonna. I've got a few of them that are already offering to do extra classes online too. So even outside of the schedule, so people could still. They will give them their meeting rooms and passwords, and then they just go and log in with them. It's funny. I had parents that actually were asking me to keep the Zoom going, not because of the health and safety. They just like being home and not having to take their kid into town.
Well, yeah, and people have adjusted, and because they've made those adjustments. How much are they willing to readjust again as things start to open up?
And some, in our fitness classes, for example, we have some members who are going to be away up north for the entire month of August and want to continue on Zoom. So where the education system was talking about, either 100% in the classroom or half and half online in the classroom or 100% online or a hybrid, that's basically what we're offering. It's a sort of you choose what works best for you, and we're going to try our best to make that work.
So, looking at the bottom line, and obviously that's so important right now, because at one point you guys weren't even sure, whether the business would be able to continue during the pandemic. It has. How much do you think it can thrive in a situation like this?
You picked why we're apprehensive, because it's to try to come up with a class schedule right now. I've got to come up with what we had before we went online, what we currently have online, and we lost about 12% membership. Like there are a lot of students that were doing different things as far as their memberships, whether they were paying monthly or full payments, as though you got to go through all the business end of it. But as far as like students that dropped off, we lost about 12%. And so I've got to look at the Zoom schedule, but even that 12%, a bunch of them, when they canceled, they said, "Oh no, we're coming back." So I have to, again, you got two scenarios there, and then you got the third scenario of, now our phone's ringing off the hook for our little Dragons program in particular, between 3 to 6. We've got a lot of parents that are looking at doing that. So now we're looking, okay, well, maybe we have to add another class. so it's hopefully a schedule is going to come out today or earliest tomorrow morning for all our students, and then we're going to try to run with that for August, and if we have to make any alterations, then we will.
Does it change at all because of age groups and concerns about keeping everyone healthy?
I think it changes in terms of age groups according to the individual. So we have some older adults who are struggling with some respiratory issues, even something as simple as asthma, let's say, who really don't wish to put themselves into the environment of, a public setting like that. So I don't think it has so much to do with the age group, but just more the individual.
What about you guys? And the thoughts in your mind in keeping your staff and yourselves healthy?
Oh, that's a good question, and I think you're reading our minds right now. We're having a tough time. We're trying to make sure that we can balance what we like to do in a way that's now not the product that we're used to delivering. And so we're trying to figure out how we can do that the best that we can for not only a financially viable aspect of it, but also for the community aspect and for hopefully delivering a product that is still somewhat authentic to what we enjoy teaching.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, knowing both of you, I mean, you guys are perfectionists, would like to get it done perfectly, but that whatever perfection it was is not going to be today.
No, and that's a big concern. Like when you're teaching fitness, it's not such a huge thing, just because we can still teach how to do a certain exercise, or we got 2 classes on the schedule that are spin, so it's pretty. That's going to stay the same. Get on a bike and pedal, and I'm obviously trivializing how the class works, but that can stay the same. But when you're talking about martial arts, for me, I used to teach control and defensive tactics for security and police officers, and I'm not doing that right now. There's something that definitely needs to be done with a partner. And for me, not necessarily the liability from a legal point of view, but just I don't want to have somebody that I trained out and thinking they can defend themselves when they haven't been able to actually touch somebody when they were training. That I think that's a big element of self-defense that needs to be addressed. But when it comes down to karate, there's katas, there's line drills, there's single forms. There's still a lot to be gained by solo practice. For us, we had a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program, though, last year. That's not going to run because we can't do any of the wrestling and grappling that's involved in that, and that's a big component of that program. For Aikido, it's joint locks and throws, and so there's still some basic movements, and I'm trying not to use the Japanese terms, but there's but basically there's still techniques that you can do as a solo person there. So we're going to keep that program running. I have students that are actually asking me to keep it running because they've enjoyed what they've been able to do online. But yeah, it's a learning curve.
Well, yeah, and I'm thinking about it too. You were talking about instructing in defense, and not only it's the actual touching, but it's where have they been and what kind of bubble are they in or out of?
Yeah, and so with our students who are, let's say, on their own, solo students, whether it's a child or whether it's an adult, unfortunately, at this point in time, we don't have the opportunity to create partners for them. We do have family members who train. We have several families who train together, and that will be incorporated into our schedule for 2 different family classes. So those particular groups of people will be able to do partner drills, judo, aikido, the things where we do have to make contact with each other. So I'm looking forward to being beaten up quite a bit because, I get to be Scott's partner. So,
well, that goes into the isolation thing, but that's another conversation for another day.
It's all legal on the floor. We're good with it. We're good with it.
Do you remember day 2 of isolation? Yeah.
But no, so that's what I was referring to when I'm talking about trying to make the program authentic. We don't know how long it's going to last where we're not allowed to have contact. And, where we may very well have restrictions lifted where the government says, yes, now you can expand your bubble to blah, blah, blah. We're still going to have people who are uncomfortable with that and who are not willing to participate in those types of things. And so we're going to have to continually figure out how to make those exceptions and make those progressions and regressions. And it's a pretty intense learning curve for us.
Our take on it, too, is I had an instructor that came in a few years ago. He's a really good friend of mine. He shows up and teaches usually once a year. We didn't have him this year because of the pandemic, of course. But he goes to about 22, 23 different countries in a year. That's what he does for a living. He just tours different schools. And the first time I brought him in, he did a warm-up that was just crazy with the kids. He had them taking off their belts and playing tug of war with them, and it just totally weird stuff that to me this is no push-ups, there's no sit-ups, there's no and he walked over to me and says, you just got to get them moving, and so we're going to try to take that angle on it and just realize that out of everything that we're learning in martial arts, like when it comes down to a self-defense approach, I got to be honest when I say that yes, it's probably the first thing that somebody would think about when they're thinking about signing up for martial arts as far as what reason would they do. But when you ask them 2 or 3 years later and say, hey, have you been in any bar fights lately or have you been mugged or whatever? And usually the answer is no, but did you enjoy your martial arts class? Oh, absolutely. So there's got to be some authenticity to what we're teaching. But in the end, we also have to be realistic and realize that, that we're looking at body movement more than anything else.
And after all this time in lockdown, people are just happy to move. They just want some instruction and they want some socializing and they want some opportunity to actually work up a good sweat, I think.
So Okami Kai reopening, the dojo reopening on August the 4th. Just a good idea for people to get a hold of you and as you guys continue to set up the classes?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have programs that start as young as age 3. And beyond. So they can call us at 905-852-1521. Find us online at www.okamikai.com. We're in the process of trying to just get everything updated on our website. If they go there today, they're not going to see anything updated. We're just finishing up the new schedule and trying to get all that sorted out. And but they can find us on Facebook or ping us a message and we will respond.
Yeah, the one nice thing about waiting to open until August 4th is now we can procrastinate a bit.
That's not true.
No.
I'm looking forward to you guys working together. It'll settle some of these conversations, I'm sure.
Listen. I don't know if it will. I think it just creates new ones.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, we want to thank you both for talking to us. Obviously, these are not easy times, but it's great to see you guys continue to put one foot in front of the other and then at times pivot. And we wish you the best of luck as you reopen on August the 4th.
Thank you. Pivot. I just can't get that Friends episode out of my head. Pivot!
Yeah. Well, we've been doing an awful lot of that. Guys, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you, Dan. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. That is Scott Campsall and Jennifer Neveu from Okami Kai. Again, they will be reopening the dojo coming up on August the 4th. Tomorrow, the reopening of many businesses under Stage 3 in Durham Region.